What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about sling adjustment and finding your proper kind of sling length for your body. Before I get into showing you guys exactly how I wear my slings and set them up on my rifle, I did want to make a few points on these two slings on the table. These are both Ferro Concepts Slingsters. They're kind of my go-to right now. I do have a video on how I weave the QDs onto these, so I'll try and link that in a card or in the description or something for you guys to watch. That was a pretty popular one. I appreciate you guys showing all the love on that video. But a quick note that I wanted to make is that if you find your sling binding up on itself and kind of getting twisted, I would recommend that you switch from maybe something like this Ferro QD to something like this. I can't remember if this is a Daniel Defense or a Troy or something, but it's a little bit wider. So when this is plugged into your stock in the rear, it kind of locks itself into the corner of the stock, not allowing it to twist up and get all bound up and then mess you up later on down the road. And so you just don't have to constantly untangle your sling and untwist your sling. Definitely recommend maybe trying a little bit wider size QD in the rear if you don't have a partial rotation socket in your stock. So just a quick point I want to touch on before we get into kind of how to size a sling up to your personal body type. So we'll cut over there and I'll show you guys how I do it personally. All right, so a little bit of a change of scenery here. So again, I did want to mention that I am using a larger QD on the stock here to kind of pinch the sling and not allow it to rotate around on itself with a Ferro QD here in the front. So with that being said, the way I like to size my slings up is I've kind of gotten to the point where I know exactly where I need to size my sling up without even having to put it on. That's just from using so many Ferro slings and putting QDs and on and off of so many Ferro slings. I kind of just know already where the QDs need to be. So a good way to find where you should put your QDs on your sling is route it up with the sling collapsed all the way first, and do it, just eyeball it and kind of lay the sling out flat in front of you. Maybe clip the rear in and then work the front and kind of just gauge it visually first and put it on. But my kind of rule of thumb when it comes to putting the sling at a comfortable position for myself, this is how I like to run it. So I'll give you kind of a rundown. With the sling tightened all the way up and my arm all the way through the sling, having it come around my shooting shoulder, if you will, around to the opposite side to the front of the gun. I like to have the rifle hang with the buttstock right under my neckline. I apologize if I bumped the mic there. You might get a lot of that. I like to run the stock right underneath my neck so that the pistol grip is like right in line with my belly button pretty much. That's what's comfortable for me. You're gonna have to play a little bit and get comfortable with it and kind of size it up to yourself. But for my personal uses, I like to have it slung just like this so that when the rifle is down like this, it's not banging off my knees and it's also not smacking me in the face. Just what's comfortable for me. And then I also have this adjusted, and I'm kind of so skinny that it works to a point where I can still drive the gun out and take quick shots with the sling at its tightest position without having to swim inside the sling to loosen it up to bring the gun up, which is nice. So for me, I like to leave the sling as tight as it'll go until I'm actually doing something, and I'll only loosen it about halfway, so that way I can still have the sling kind of for support following my support hand, and then if I need to swim inside the sling, I can very easily do that and then grab it, tighten it back up, and then drop the gun again. So that's kind of how I size my slings up to myself. It allows for me with the sling in its tightest most position, I can still swim in and out of it pretty freely and get into like a rear admin position and then come up off of a rear admin position and then swim right back through it, and then again swim up into the sling, tighten it down, and let the rifle hang freely. So I hope that kind of helped. It might not be the easiest thing to follow. You really kind of have to tune it to yourself. I can't give you a end-all be-all answer on it, but this is personally how I set up my slings and what really works for me. So if you have any questions, or if I didn't explain it well enough, ask me in the comments. I'll try and do a little bit better down there. And as always, thank you guys for watching.